Hello guys, this is a review of two very unlikely movies, The Longest Ride and Pyewacket. Pyewacket should be pretty recent because I just bought it at Walmart. I was just idling past the DVD section and I looked up the movie title on Google, read the reviews, and mostly favorable, so I decided to purchase it, and it was a good purchase. Pyewacket deals with Lori Holden, the mother of a teenage daughter played by Nicole Munoz, and basically it's about a teenage girl, probably freshman, sophomore year in high school, who is dealing with the death of her father and the lack of coping skills of her mother. Now, they have a relationship that kind of reminds me of like a seesaw, that type of effect, where every time, and you know this drill because it happens in real life all the time, the mother doesn't particularly blame Leah for the death of her father, the way it seems to play out in other movies, but she does associate her with her husband because of the physical features that they used to share. And she actually tells Leah that. So every time Leah goes up and is actually, you know, doing well, the mother goes down. And anytime the mother goes up, Leah has to go down. And since it's been so difficult for the mother to deal with all of this, she needs the support of her daughter. She needs her to behave. She needs her to be there and to do everything that she needs her to do. But Leah is also dealing with the same issues. Well, maybe not the same, but similar. This similar pain, similar loss. So they need each other, but they cannot find the will and, like, you know, the motivation to be there 100% for each other because they are trying to heal their own personal wounds. Now, Leah, ever since her father died, she became friends with a group of what her mother calls losers. They are some gothic-looking rock kids, you know, very particular way of dressing, very rock and roll, black, leather, unique haircuts, and the whole eyeliner thing. And her mother disagrees with the friendship that Leah has begun with them, and obviously that's a very big problem for Leah, and it just grows on from there because the mother reaches a point in the movie where she decides to move houses, and she's like, well, Leah, you have no choice. I have to do this for myself. You have to understand. So being that Leah does not have a car or a job or is not old enough, whatever, she has to accept it. She tells her friends, and she's really mad about it. Now, her friends are into satanic, I was gonna say satanic rituals, witchcraft, and all of that sort of stuff, the occult, but not necessarily into it, but fascinated by it. They like to learn about it, but they don't actually practice it. Now, Leah gets mad one day, and she performs a ritual that she found on a book, and it's very important. The book is very important because it was written by a writer who actually signed off the book at the library at some point in the movie. And the ritual was to kill her mother because she was just so upset at her. Her mother had been telling her a bunch of mean things throughout the movie. So she summoned Pyewacket. I really like the name Pyewacket. I kept repeating it as I watched the movie. It was really funny for me. Anyway, she reaches out after she realizes that Pyewacket is actually real and is actually manifesting himself, or is about to manifest himself and take her mother and cause harm to others. She the writer tells her that the only way to revert this is to actually perform the same ritual and ask for forgiveness while she's doing it through every step, and, like, you know, it's gonna work backwards. But and by the way, you know how I always include spoilers? Well, this is no exception. Spoilers. It says in the title, so I'm not gonna ask for forgiveness. And, you know, they go ahead and everything, but she doesn't make it. she gets carried away. And this play is very similar to the Babadook or the Witch. It has and it's actually by the producers of, if you see from the producers of the Witch, it has like, you know, another cover that you could switch. That's why they usually, when you have these see-through cases, then you could switch the art. Anyway, it has a build-up of the Witch, and it actually has like a very similar theme to the whole Babadook, because it's more of an emotional roller coaster of how do I deal with this, and then the presence of mental illness throughout the whole film. And it's up to you to decide some of these things, but it's not very hard to understand. That's actually something that's really nice about this film. It's very easy to watch. You don't have to be thinking too much about anything. It's just enjoyable, very real, good acting, and good directing. Now that's for Pyewacket. I give it probably a 6.5. It's good. And The Longest Ride. Now I don't know why I'm putting them together. Well, probably because these were the last two movies that I've watched recently. This wasn't released this year. It's probably like 2015 maybe, and it's based on a novel by Nicholas Sparks, who wrote like The Notebook and all that. Very good literary content. And this movie is based around Britt Robertson's character and Scott Eastwood's character. He's Luke and she's Sophia. Basically, Luke is this bullrider, this cowboy who works in the farm, does farm work, and is very interested and very close-minded in that sense, that he just doesn't want to go out of the rural areas. He wants to keep working there. That's all he knows. That's all that he's ever done, even though he did suffer an accident riding a bull once, one of the hardest ones. He's very good at it though. And Sophia is this sorority sister who heads over to a particular college in that state because of the facilitation to that education, and she's very interested in art. This movie plays like a double movie, because near the beginning of the film, probably 20 minutes, a good 20-25 minutes into the film, they are riding back through their first date. Now they have this issue. They meet, they like each other, but she's gonna go to New York because, as I mentioned, she's interested in art, interested in college, you know, getting her education and reaching that level of, how can I say, basically, some people in life, or some people consider that life is more of a live it day by day, let's survive. Some people, let's live and we'll see what happens, let's be nice to each other, let's career, blah 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 blah. And these two have similar morals, similar boundaries and everything like that, but their career paths are just so far apart. And his idea of life is, like I said, very much just be a bull rider, make money, sustain the family, and work the land that you live off of. And her idea is more art and abstractness and this and that. I don't know if abstractness is a word, but you know what I meant. So they decide to still go on this date that I mentioned before. That's why I kept thinking back. I didn't want to lose my thought on that scene. They're riding home and they see that there's been an accident on the road. It's a rainy day, and so they head over and save an elderly man who is still alive in the driver's seat. And as they're pulling him out, he's like, get the box, get the box. So Sophia goes back and gets the box, They take him to the hospital, and she waits till he wakes up so he's okay. Takes him the box. She actually read what was in the box, which were a bunch of letters, and he's fascinated by her love of art, her attention to him, her empathy, and her fascination for his stories. And his stories are not just random stories, they are his real life. It happened to him with his love, which is well, when was it? Probably like, I'm probably gonna get this really wrong, but I'm guessing it was like the 50s when this happened. And the story of the guy, of course, the elderly man. And they talk about it, and she goes back each day to read him the stories that he wrote so that he could, you know, feel better and relive those moments. And as that happens, Sophia and Luke, and now this, like, as I'm saying, it sounds very boring, but it's not. It's really fun, really captivating. At first I watched this movie and I thought to myself, well, it's just going to be another romantic movie, maybe a little bit of comedy in there, it's going to be blah, and I really don't want to watch it. Actually, I purchased it on sale on Black Friday. It was like $3, and it still is probably $4 or $5 at Walmart, but yeah, then I kind of regretted it, and I was like, I don't even want to watch it, but I already spent the money, and I have it, and I tried to sell it, but they wouldn't take it. So I just took it for what it was, or what I thought it would be, and it turns out it's, you know, it's a very beautiful movie. The story clings on to what I mentioned. They reach a point. I just can't tell you. Like, I really wish I could just say, you know, scene by scene and everything, but I don't want to do it for this movie. If you're interested in anything that's kind of like a Titanic but lower budget, something maybe any romantic movie, any romantic movie that does not dwell too much in the comedy or the silliness of it, but more so in the feeling and the rawness and how, gosh, it was so sad. Yes, I did cry a couple of times. It was a sad movie, but with I must say, a very positive ending, very motivating personally, enchanting, captivating, any synonym that you could apply for those words. I liked it, and I give this movie, in its category, of course, probably an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really, I had a really good time, and I do recommend it. Now this, I just don't really know what audience to go for, because if you're a horror fan that likes to watch horror movies and an abundant amount of them, watch it. You know, watch it, because we horror fans will always watch anything. Unless it's really, 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 really dumb, and we know for a fact that it's really dumb, then we don't give it a try. But come on, let's be real. Even with those remakes and everything, that we're like, we're not gonna watch them. Yes, we do. Now, The Longest Ride is, like I said, for those people who love comedies. Even I mean, romantic movies. Even if you love comedies and not so much romantic movies, but would still appreciate a good film regardless of the genre, then this movie's for you. And if you enjoy those movies, then this movie's definitely for you. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching.